let's see if, once we've done the Bronze Rod quest, the Eudocia, are you going to march a golem army across the the peninsula? How many coins do we have? 4 dragon coins. Yeah, rent me a room, please, because I have no food right now. Okay, it's going to be muddy roads. Doesn't bother me. Any leftovers? No. Have you heard anything about High Island while I'm here? I've heard this name somewhere. Let me think. He looks around and picks up a mug and tilts it to peek inside. Oh, right. It's the savage wilds around the volcano. I asked the locals what's with the smoke that can be seen from time to time, but they don't know much about the place either. I'd ask some sailors if I were you. Okay. Do we have any info on this? No, he wants me to find Glaucia. Do you have anything I'd like to buy? No. Oh, an elk fur. Ah, the crossbow. I could do with buying this crossbow at some point, because I think I can use this. Instead, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to chomp down on a ration. What do I do? Ooh, I could do a wild plant. Yeah, sure. Since these might spoil, let's eat some wild plants. Perfect. Right, take me to... Actually, let me look at the guards for a second. I could use a skillful hunter on my short journey to High Island. What? She chuckles, but then matches your serious look. Tell me more. You share the gist of your plans as she's spending the old stew on the ground, but to a boar's great joy. I put safety above adventure, she finally responds. But there is a way you could convince me. What's your price? 20 dragons. You seem to know what you're doing, and I can look after myself. Good patrons get good prices. Alright, we'll return to this later, because every single person on this peninsula wants, 100 dragon bones to go to High Island. Did you know there are undead that use light? Kind of. She gives you an unconvinced smile. I know they grow more human-like the older they get. I think they don't need light, they just want it. Like when they put on clothes or take trinkets from those they kill. Okay. How about the goblins nearby? Could you help me with those? As long as it involves someone paying for it, I'm ready to listen. What do you know about the pack? Without interruptions, you tell as much as you can. Getting rid of them will do the trick, sure, but as long as those buildings ain't razed to the ground, new beasts will move in. Sooner or later. Though I ain't want to stop you from reaching into your pouch, a brief smile quirks the lips. Now, you need to take care of some things first. Hunters or not, we won't raid a lair blindly. What do you want me to do? She lists your tasks one by one, in the meantime bending forward to brush a boar. Make sure you've looked around the entire village. My crew will get mad if it turns out there's yet another lair is just behind the corner. Then, be sure there's no soul around. When we fight, we don't do rescue jobs, and if we do, they cost a lot. The boar grunts and turns around, leading it to its other side. Speaking of which, for you it's going to be, she squints her eyes a bit, 10 coins. But we'll take some of the loot we find. We won't let go of magic swords and rings just because. Not that I expect any, she straightens up, but who knows? Just so you know, I'll bring an axe with me. She looks at you as if you're a lunatic. We won't take you with us, Andalono. If you can kill a goblin, good, but we have a team. Our own words, knowledge of our strong and weak sides. We don't need you around. Just give us 2 or 3 days after you pay us and we'll take care of it. Alright, we'll return to that later then. And do you know anything about the High Island? She looks at the other guards, but is met with silence. "'Tis just an island," says one of them. "No soul swims there no more. It's too green, too many beasts. Unicorns, I heard." Alright. I walk away. And I travel. So I need more bug juice to get into there. I need the grappling hook to get into here. And I still don't have it. Nor do I need it. I've placed the bronze rod now, right? The dolmen is done. Is the fallen tree fallen no longer? Nope, it's still fallen. It's still there. Alright, go back to secluded residence. You take a short ride through the roads surrounding the tower. The branches, rocks, plants and bones are cleared. The trail evens out, and in many spots you notice larger prints left by the boulder-like feet. Eudocia has kept her word. Crossing these hills should be much easier now. Nice! Thank you, Eudocia. White and grey birds are sitting on the walls without making a sound, giving you tense looks. You touch the cold chest, but there's no response. Oh. It will make her angry, but I touch the gargoyle's head. I'm afraid I have to speak with you right now. I'll wait as long as it takes for it to let me in. I enter the yard. What a waste of a day. I want to collect my reward for the bronze rods. Eudocia wipes her hands on her robe, puts one into her pocket and waits for you to describe the locations where you've placed the rods. She asks for a few details and thinks aloud. Let's see. 8 rods in total, so that would be... here you go. I guess we're done here. It looks so. It looks so. Thanks, Andalono. Fantastic. As a bonus reward for placing all my rods, you can buy my spirit rocks cheaper. Such a journey would take me weeks. Or it wouldn't, for I wouldn't try, she chuckles. But as she twirls her hair, her eyes grow absent again. Let's trade. 6 dragon bones for a spirit rock, I'll take 1. And have you ever heard about High Island? But of course, she says right away, but then leans away and glances at your boots. Though, I didn't pay much attention to the monk's tales. She brushes her dark hair with her fingers, asking you to give her a moment. She doesn't share much with you. High Island is the largest island that's somewhat close to the coast, but its huge volcano makes it a worrying sight. It may be covered with green forests and hills, but no tribe aspires to claim it. You might want to ask Foggy. She loves tales of weird places. Okay. Well, unfortunately for me, this is probably going to be... Oh my god, I can't even get back to the pelt. But I can rest at the watchtower. Is there anything over here that I need to look at? No, I enter the tower. Oh, come on. We're just going to wait here till night time. And we're going to sleep here. Sleeping on a buggy pallet. Yeah, I know, it's not ideal. The pallet is buggy and far from fresh. But with your cape, it's going to be soft. The thick walls will protect you from the wind and monsters. Goddamn rain. The scratching from the lower floor wakes you up. You get out of the blanket and look down the ladder. The main door shakes. Just in case, you open a window and glance outside. A pale, muscular Freitag tries to open the entrance with its massive hands, but to no avail. After it hears the screeching with shutter, it looks at you with its dead, black eyes, then grabs one of the bricks and bounces up, shortening the distance quickly. You lock the window with every bolt and bar it has, just in time to keep the shouting monster away. The ape punches the planks fiercely, then climbs even higher looking for another entrance, but is incapable of recognising the trapdoor, and after another few minutes, you think it gave up. Just to be sure, I'll inspect every window main entrance. I'm not just going to go back to sleep, and I'm not going to smile and go like, haha, it'll take a dragon to knock down this tower, because then a dragon will come along and knock down the tower. You open your eyes and there's an unpleasant tingling on your cheek. You reach out for what turns out to be a small bug. You throw it away and look around, only to see dozens of tiny creatures swarming on the floor and the bed, as well as your blanket, clothes and bags. You push some of them away, gathering your things, with thoughts still clouded by dreams. You gather your things and look through the bags, removing as many insects, worms and spiders from them as you can find. Jadamain is observing you patiently, unmoved by the commotion. You walk it outside and allow it to graze on the grass for half an hour. In the meantime, you equip it with your riding set and use the sunlight to double-check your belongings. The thought that no matter how scrupulous you are, you may keep finding new creatures in your foods and leave you alone. Alright, well, you know, I didn't want to have to do this, but we kind of had our hand forced. Right, take me to the Beholder. I approach the altar. I offer you a spirit rock. As soon as you lay it on the stone slab, the pebble hisses for less than a single breath, then shatters into dozens of tiny rocks. Not much larger than that of grain to sand. The tree greets your offering with the sound of moving, stretching branches. Are you kidding me? I still need to offer more stuff. Okay, I'll give you a healing potion. I didn't want to, but here we are. You put the bottom of the altar and after a couple of breaths it starts to shake. Maybe you should pour it out its contents. I spill the liquid onto the altar. The potion covers the altar, filling the air with sweet smell of fruits and honey. The liquid sinks into the table before it gets to the edges. The tree greets your offering with the sound of moving, stretching branches. I approach the weird fruit that suddenly appeared. It appeared in just a couple of moments, transforming from a button-sized sphere to a large fruit. While its shape and size resembles an apple, it's also pale, entwining the whites and greys of bone. It's divided into a number of slices, like an expensive toy made of marble. The tree is now larger, taller, but becomes silent once motionless. Sated by its hunger, your farewell gift is waiting for you. I undress and enter the water. No, I spend an hour or so making the tools that will allow me to pick the fruit from where I am. You look for 2 long branches in the required shapes, and at first you make a curved hook, then a net-like piece of cloth spread between 2 sub-branches. The plan is simple. Pull the fruit with the former, then catch it with the latter. You practice on an imaginary branch a couple of times until you feel ready. All it takes is a single pull. It's hard like bone, smooth like polished granite, and just as cold. You look at the tree, but nothing else grabs your attention. I put the tools away and hide the fruit in a sack. We're done. See you later. Elder, I have the fruit. I have the fruit you told me about. He straightens up and takes the fruit gently, then carries it to the cave where he returns. He bows his head to you. I'm astonished, traveller. I am. It must have taken a lot, but we're almost done with it. Return to me once you're ready to take me to Old Pegasus and back, but any later than the early afternoon. I may help us push away the wild animals, but I'll be too weak to protect us from creatures of the night. We need maybe even 6 hours. I have 5 hours 30 minutes. God damn it, it's too late! I'm hurt, I'd like to collect my reward. Oh, I thought I can heal off this guy. Did I ask him about High Island? Yeah, I've asked him already. Okay. Well, that's annoying. I'm going to have to come back here again then. I guess we head up to Howler's Dell then temporarily, because it's a nicer place for me to rest. Druids, do you know anything about High Island? I need your help. I know where I can find Asterion, but my journey will be difficult. Once you tell her about the island, she puts a left index finger on her lips, thinking, you're not known for any unusual deed. We don't care for this man, and we see you as a stranger. We will need help you in your journey. Do you know anything about High Island? A few of the elders mutter and give them she gives them a grim look, as blue as ancient ice. I can't help you. Alright, thanks a lot for all that incredible, useful information. Outfit repairs. No, I haven't got the money right now. Okay, go to the main square. Akakios. How's your daughter? Did the potion work? She's fine. Brought back her first lizard. And nay thanks to me, he exhales. She didn't accept my help. A burnt bridge. But I had a chance to talk with her. He scratches his head. At least now I can heal myself when we get sworn by the undead, or brigands, or goblins, or the Unite, whatever it is that we're afraid of now. Would you like to buy any of my things? Absolutely not. What do you have for sale? I can't afford your battle axe. I really need to write down what everyone's selling and where they're selling it. Because I just can't remember. I just go to everyone and go like, what are you selling again? I need a few rations. Oh yeah. Not right now, thanks. The mayor. I believe I can find a steer in High Island, but I need to take a few fighters with me. She chuckles and leans toward and realizes you're not joking. Tell me more. You keep her explanations brief, But no matter the way you cut it, your plan sounds like a ludicrous task. I can't put the lives of my neighbours at such a pointless risk. She straightens up. I must refuse. How about news about the other parts of the peninsula? The people of the creeks face many struggles. Your tale takes quite a few minutes. Not only does Face have many questions, she finally asks Eric's to bring her a wax tablet, in which she starts making notes. Once you're done, she lets out a relieved sigh and speaks more to herself than to you. If it just so happens that the tribe will need my help, I'll be prepared to answer their call. She looks at you in the eyes and smiles warmly, then closes the tablet loudly. That's all I have to say. Can you give us a moment? As you frown, a muscular, crudely dressed woman approaches the table, asking Feist for directions. Something about moist logs and breaking boards. You start paying attention quickly and instead wonder why the mayor insists on holding these meetings outside. She's so busy she needs to be constantly available to others. I'm neither a threat nor someone important enough to be worthy of her exclusive time. It's all theatre. She wants to show how much she cares about the others, or it would be inappropriate for a married person to spend this much time with an outsider away from everyone's eyes. I think it's not a threat. I think I'm just not important enough for her. She seems to be only interested in the safety of her village. Great job, she sends off the worker with an encouraging smile. Though when their eyes meet yours, you catch a hint of contempt. Oh, so you're not going to give me anything for that? Face, you're fucking useless. Can you please let me sleep here? Because I need more daylight. I'm hungry. Okay, I have to rent a room then. Or eat my supplies. We're down to our last dragon bone again. But I'm hoping the old Pagos people will help me. Okay, we have to make haste. Elder's Cave. Sorry, I leave the square. Elder's Cave. We have all day. Old Pagos. Without a word, he walks through the metal door and leaves you alone for a few minutes. Once he returns, he holds a red staff and a living bag, which he gives to you. I'm old. You'll carry it, he states matter-of-factly. He's changed into similar pants and a tunic, but their greens, blues and reds are lively. You don't see any stitches or patches. Still, he looks like an old commandant, not a priest. He says and goes down the path. As you leave Shadowmane, there isn't much of an opportunity to speak with the old druid. He looks around, observes the plants and the sky, but hardly ever glances towards you. And never for long enough to have a chance to read your lips. Why don't we put him on the horse, and I can lead him on the horse? I know it's still hard in the saddle, but you'd think it would be a little bit easy for him still. I follow him north. The locals drop their tools and head to the road, observing your approach anxiously. And bowing to the elder, the commotion spreads to the other side of the wall as the villagers call their friends and families to gather around. Behind the open gates, you're welcomed by a tunnel of onlookers. The druid raises his hand and waves to no one in particular. He moves forward silently, not interested in what he sees. Once you get to the fruit-bearing trees, you turn right. Crossing the bridge. It's not easy for an old man, but he doesn't ask anyone to hold him, instead putting his weight on the staff and taking slow steps forward. The welcoming committee awaits you on the islet. The druids are gathered on one side, while a group of elders are on the other. Five stands in your way, right before the second bridge. When you reach it, there's a long silence. I let them play out their games. Let us be. What we do here is unrelated to you. Yeah, honestly, Feist, you've messed me around. Let us be. What we're doing here is unrelated. The mayor's eyes are filled with anger, yet a tone remains calm. We don't wish to bother any of you. Quite the opposite, Roadwarden. 'Tis a great day for our village. The forest speaker has visited us again, after so many years. I hope the news you're bringing are delightful. She raises her head and chillingly titters. There's no trace of a city accent. The elder's tone is both firm and polite. I have nay more words for any of you. If there had been another path I could take, I would. He looks around slowly, observing the nearby faces. I'm glad to see you in good health. This place does need me, and thanks to Andalorno, I can reach the people in great misfortune. He puts his free hand on your soldier. Shoulder? Shoulder even. my soldier is a euphemism. He's just trying to perk me up. The pale leader of the local druid steps forward with fingers clenched around her staff. Beholder has been awoken. Our people have the right to see its seed. You're robbing us of a fruit for which we've been waiting since spring. Her cadence is indistinguishable from your companions, and you notice their staffs of an identical length. It belongs to me. I've made the sacrifice and I get to decide. And this stranger has chosen what none of you is brave enough to do. The man sounds like a disappointed teacher, and you realise he has heard the druidess voice without looking at her lips. Ever you Elpis! He points at the pale druidess with his staff. His hand is shaking. To think you would dare to claim a holy totem as your belonging. Your soul is marked with corruption. He looks around. You would believe you deserve the seed. Do you understand who you are? How lost you are? He moves his staff around, pointing at various faces. He wants to move forward, but the mare puts hands on her sides. In her eyes, you see an unfamiliar glimpse of fear. You've already eaten the seed once, O speaker. Dunna make us use force. There's no need for violence. Do not push us into it. The elder scoffs. I would sooner turn myself into a pike and swim down the stream to drop the seed into the swamps that let you rob the one who has followed our traditions. The Roadwarden did so in the name of what's right, and I believe it with my whole soul. His voice raises. 1 year after everything I've done for you, and taken away but 1 year of prayers, yet you still fight. What a pathetic day. He doesn't wait any longer. He steps forward and the mare gets out of your way, observing the two of you with shame and fury. You cross the bridge, then open a gate. The man returns to silence, but his back is bowed, shoulders drooping. We're almost there. Alright, well, I'm not going to be welcome there anymore. Oh god. The man stops near the clearing and leans on his staff, contemplating the clearing silently. When I was but a brat, nay, a bough was trimmed without a greater purpose, nay only for humans, both for the trees and land. Pinching the spirits was a misdeed. He turns to you, observing your lips. I've heard tales of great sages, from before the days of the emperors, who restored such lands with a single spell, brought them back to life, helped us find forgiveness, the right path. Where are the sages now? Those are just stories. He glances at the dead trees, made up by those who dream of salvation. Okay, but didn't know what they need to be saved from. Who think there's a balm that will cure a soul, the fate itself. He resumes his walk and I follow him. Okay, we've made it. The hills are bright and colourful. The tall grasses and flowers dance with the wind, unaware of the countless grasshoppers, butterflies, and mice that romp and prey among them. Dark green birds are circling above the walls and cliffs, arguing in tongues unknown to humans. With every breath you take, with every breath you take in the summer, in its dusk, the drying ground and the promise of rainfalls, as well as the pinching smoke coming from the funeral pyre, set in the centre of the village, cutting the horizon like a column weaved from shadows. As time goes on, the old man's walking pace slows down, observing the lands around you with great interest. His keen eyes stop on trees, bushes, and flowers, though it's the crops on the plateau that makes him stop for a bit. After a minute or two, he speaks. The plants want to fall. They need more than 2 rains. The farmers need to come out right after dawn. He doesn't look at your lips, just turns around and approaches the second ascent, once again slowing down to climb it without your help. I turn the shadow into the fence so it can graze on the meadow. The man waits at the gate and reaches out to you. You give him the bag that he gave you back at the shelter. You don't even have to stay away, but it will need be pleasant, he sighs. I'll come out soon, and we'll leave this place right away. The village may be cured, but that does not mean that the plague is cleansed. We can still be infected. He raises his red staff and uses it to knock on the gate. You don't wait long for the dark-eyed woman to open the peephole. This time there are not that many people around her. "Let me in," says the druid. The peephole closes right away. After a few loud minutes of moving the wooden bars, the gate opens slightly. You have a couple of moments to look around. The few buildings you notice are unlike anything you've seen in this province, made of materials that resemble the rock faces seen on this very hill, with tiled roofs and stone walls. The gate closes gently. I stay near the gate. You hear footsteps, voices, crying, heavy objects that are moved around. For a couple of moments, everything calms down, but then a sudden wind strikes you, pushing you away from the wall. Your skin tingles, then your shell convulses. Your stomach hurts. You want to spit out something that you can't comprehend, like a dragon with a breath of pestilence. The feeling stops suddenly. You wipe the sweat from your forehead, feeling a weird relaxation in your limbs, a lethargy under your control. Something you'd feel after a long training or a day of hard work. You take a deep breath, and the wood, stone, smoke ground, and grass spark a new sensation in your nose. Some sort of sharpness that you hadn't perceived before. I focus on regaining control of my shell, please. Only now do you notice that the gate is open, and that the old man is right next to you, kneeling, leaning forward, breathing heavily. He opens his bag, pulling out the weird fruit that you gave him. With shaking hands, he detaches the first slice of its skin. But before you take a good look at it, it turns into a grey powder and slips through the man's fingers. The rest of the fruit follows its example, covering the soil with an ash-like dirt. The thing that remains resembles yet another fruit, or a cherry-sized seed, levitating in the middle of a floral ribcage. The man observes it for a few breaths, then reaches for it with 2 fingers, squishing it softly, and puts it into his mouth. During the next minute, he gets up, grins at you, dusts off his knees, and takes a few steps forward, which turn into dance-like skipping, and then he descends from the hill without a word. You hear the joyful calls of the villagers, their hysterical laughter and names screamed at the sky, welcoming those that have woken after a long dream. I prepare my horse and follow the druid. For the first hour, the elder swings his staff round, like a conjurer in the marketplace, and hums to himself like a drunkard. His walking pace remains stable. As time goes on, his frenzied state fades out. At first, he returns to using his staff, then gives you his bag. He looks down, hobbling, and finally asks you for help. I get him into the saddle. You help the man dismount, realizing how light he actually is. Holding your shoulder, he points at the bench near the spring. You help him sit down and place his staff and bag nearby. He's smiling, covered by sunbeams, stretching out his legs, leaning back to rest on the warm rocks. "We've done a good job," he says quietly, but clearly. Now all we can do is hope they'll stop cutting down the trees before the wild creatures push them into the sea. After a moment, he opens his eyes and looks at your lips. "Thank you for your assistance. I'm still not sure why you decided to aid them. They're not your allies. Thank you for your assistance. You've honestly been the kindest person on this peninsula. Not, like lovey-dovey kind. You've been fair. You've generally just told me things. You've not messed me around at all. So, sincerely, thank you. And I thank you. 'Tis one of those strange things that makes us different from so many creatures. We may not belong to a single pack, yet we've joined our strength, pursued the same goals." He looks at his small garden. "Saved the lives of others, just because we could. Our souls do make me wonder." He sighs. I want to get some sleep. If you need anything before you leave, now's the time. I deserve to know what happened in the ruined village." He lowers his head. I mean, the seed did seem to perk him up for a little bit. But keeps looking at your lips. "And what do you think happened?" "It was pillaged by humans and destroyed by monsters. It was attacked by beasts and finished off by humans." He strokes his beard. "You got it all wrong, stranger. Humans use monsters to destroy it." "Oh, the wrath of the herds." He frowns slightly. "'Tis not everything that happened. Humans use monsters to destroy it." He lets out a quiet sigh. Nay, soul in the North holds this kind of power. Alright, it was pillaged by humans and destroyed by monsters. The 10-year-old mystery. The clues you've gathered suggest that this lazy peninsula went through many changes 10 years ago, accidentally around the time when the southern village has fallen. You could use what you've learned to ask locals about what exactly happened. Gaining their trust may take a bit of work. He lowers his head. Yes, you see our shame. Okay, so people raided it, they broke in, and then the monsters came in afterwards. Alright. Look at my lips, I need to learn more about the High Island. He looks you in the eyes, then nods slowly and enters the path leading down the hill, and gestures for you to follow him on his stroll. During his speech, he never glances at your lips and doesn't ask if you have any questions. Centuries ago, a great tribe used to live on High Island, hunting, farming, mining, fishing. He observes the pond as it gets continuously more muddy. Prospering, the volcano, the Green Mountain, is naked since its last eruption a few years back. But wait another generation and the wilderness will cover it again. There's a sudden movement coming from the grasses to your right, but as you're looking that direction, you notice that a deer is just observing you. Though at an unusually close distance. 'Tis Nima place to paint their suffering, but what is near secret is how they've been treated by Hovlevin. Join us, or the sea will be taken away from you, they've heard. Corsairs had surrounded the island and attacked anyone on sight, waiting for the tribe to surrender. He can't cover the growing disdain in his voice. After a decade, the 10 cities breached the shore, tired of waiting. Cloaked by night, they crossed the walls that were raised to stop beasts, not human-shaped creatures. With farms burnt, supplies taken, and harbours destroyed, the tribe saw no future for itself. Yet, instead of bending to the will of the Emperor, they left on their last hidden ship, at least those who survived. He takes a deeper breath. The city folk resettled the island, but had no knowledge of it, or its weird seasons. Beasts and eruptions crushed them, as they had crushed the previous dwellers. There was near a single soul that would gain from all this suffering. I tried to memorize it all. The man observes the bloody remains of a rabbit lying at the side of the road, and after maybe a minute, nods for you to follow him back to his garden. To land there, you have to reach the island soon after dusk, when the sea rises. Only then can you reach the cave hidden behind one of the waterfalls. I didn't know which waterfall it is. He observes you, making sure you're listening, and you'll do better by speaking with the tribe of the Green Mountain before you attempt it. 'Tis their land, and you ought to need to trespass, of course. He's observing your lips. Do you need anything else? What can you tell me about the tribe of the Green Mountain? I'm sorry, I know you're tired, but I want to get this sorted while I'm here, because I might not need to come back here ever again. He considers your question, and finally looks at the sky, making his long hair fall on his back. Listen closely. I'm not going to say anything else. He takes a deep breath and turns towards the pond, observing the current. The road in the far east, one that's now abandoned, isn't showing the truth. Look for a brook bridge made of stone. On its northern side, turn east again, go along the stream. It'll be rough at first, but soon enough you'll get to the game trail, then a mountain. Climb it to reach the village of the tribe of the Green Mountain, who follow traditions older than any of ours. This grim tribe avoids the outside world. Right's followers have hurt them deeply. If you want them to share a stew with you, this is what you should say. Tell, I'm a freedom seeker, a friend of the speakers of the forest. Say these words like an unwanted guest looking for a roof. They do not want you there, but prove to them that you're willing to listen, need just speak. He turns towards you. There's nothing else to say. Alright. We're done. There's a hidden village then. So at the old bridge we go east, so you can get into this top corner of the map. That's really cool. I did not expect anything else to be over there. Kind of scary too. Where are we on time? 7 hours. Okay, it might be a little bit short this episode. It is pretty short. But I think I'm going to end this here because I think I'm going to go to Old Pagos next and we'll go around then. I think I'll end up going to the monastery afterwards, just to see if they've chilled out, and maybe, just maybe, I can get some of that mountain salt. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, why don't leave a like, comment, subscribe, everything helps me out, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.